When it comes to Reddit, who's more popular, Kevin or Calvin?
Why could going to Reddit send you to hell?
How did Reddit accusations of illicit margarine usage result in headaches for Starbucks?
And how did Reddit as we know it start in the most predictable way possible?
Head to the front page of the internet, everyone. We're talking Reddit. Hello, welcome to Everything You Didn't Need to Know About. Today we are talking everything you didn't need to know about Reddit. Hooray! As always, we will be giving you our favourite factor that we found out about Reddit this week. Will it come from Nathan Kenny? Will it come from Jennifer Jewell? Will it come from Thomas Adams? Will it come from me, Samatha Smith? I said our names differently this week. I'm not sure if you're into it, but I tried something and it didn't work. By the end of the episode, we'll find out who has given us our favourite fact, and that person will take home like a free subscription to Reddit, which is free.
Yep.
Good price.
That's gold.
Good
Internet
price.
books.
Yeah,
Karma. Yeah. I'd just like to point out that Reddit didn't actually start with the commenting function enabled. So it all started off, and you could put up links and everything, but you couldn't talk about it, which is most of the fun of Reddit, right? Like finding all the idiot comments that you wouldn't read in YouTube comments.
Absolutely.
The very first comment was actually someone bitching about the whole place going to the dogs. And it was a guy called Charlie B, and he's like, oh, I liked it in the good old days, like a week ago.
What's also great is
it's still there.
What's also great about the good old days of Reddit is the first like couple of maybe even months of Reddit, all the posts are just the admins and people actually working for Reddit under different names to make it look like there's a lot more activity than there was.
Because it was set up by two roommates at the University of Virginia, Alexis Ohanian, who is married to Serena Williams, that's right. And the other guy is called Steve Huffman. Like Alexis is married to Serena Williams, but Steve Huffman is also, he's like the coder of the thing, right? He's like the big old nerd, but he used to do ballroom dancing, and he used to dance with Angela from The Office, US.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they've had like quite famous big celebrity female partners despite being absolute nerds.
Like imagine being the least successful one in your partnership, knowing that you created a massive website.
There aren't going to be many people that Serena Williams can marry that would be like that should be the trailing spouse, right?
No one.
Well,
Serena
her own sister, but there are some legal problems with that.
No, in certain states you're all good.
So do you guys use Reddit much?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've worked on lots of shows where we need to find funny clips for the show. So Reddit is a great place to go to because people do your work for you.
Yeah. So my favorite subreddit is called Who Would Win? And it's a subreddit, exactly what you think it is. It's a subreddit dedicated to putting up matchups of like Superman versus Batman or a cat versus a slightly smaller cat. Who would win in a fight between Voldemort or God? But there are some really,
obviously Voldemort because God is fictional. But
we were talking about how the first couple of months it was all the Reddit admins putting up posts. Actually, in that subreddit, it's just Thom, and it's Thom at 6 a.m. going, "It'll be Voldemort," and then Thom at midnight going, "No."
One of which is, can Batman guide a tortoise across the US during the zombie apocalypse?
Obviously.
Which is great. The penguins of Madagascar have 72 hours in the US military budget to find bin Laden. And 10 average-sized 12-year-old American boys versus one average American adult male. The consensus there is that the average adult male would get destroyed.
What? How many 12-year-old boys?
10.
No, I reckon like because the adults got the will to live.
You pick up one of those kids and you swing them like a club, and you can
knock out all 11 of them.
But also, kids bounce back. Like you'd think you dealt to one of them, turn your back for 2 seconds, and then they'd rip your throat out. Just like Voldemort does frequently.
You know about AMAs, right? They ask me anything. I did one of them. I got asked to do it because I wrote the tasks for Taskmaster New Zealand. And so I did one. It was real awesome. People asked lots of questions and no one was a dick, which was surprising. So I was reading a bit more about other people who had done them. And there's this guy, Barack Obama, who did one. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him, yeah.
He's got a podcast, isn't he?
He's on yeah, he does stuff like that. He
did a lot of community organizing in Chicago.
Yeah, he's friends with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't mention that.
His wife's a real hotshot lawyer. She's great.
Oh yeah, Michelle Obama. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Oh, she made a good president.
What's a president?
It's like a prime minister, but less cool.
He did an AMA, and people posted 22,000 questions in the time that he was on. He managed to answer 10 of them.
I imagine he'd be one of those people who would do a lot of very caveated answers. Like the question would be like, "What's your favorite ice cream?" And he'd be like, "Neapolitan, but American-made Neapolitan that respects the troops." And
I like most kind of ice cream. It's delicious food that is, but you gotta eat it in moderation. Thanks. Do you know, I have actually impersonated Barack Obama on nationwide TV. It was on The Project, and I can't really talk about it because it's kind of black voice, and it was for this thing where he played golf with John Key, who was the Prime Minister of New Zealand at that time.
Yeah.
So I did my lowest voice, and even then they had to lower it a semitone to make me not sound like a tiny little girl.
What are the rules of Ask Me Anything? Because if every single person in there, all 20,000 questions, they'd thought about it before and gone, we're going to ask about the aliens in Area 51. Yeah. Like, would he have to answer it?
Well, here's the thing about AMAs is some of the most famous AMAs are of like people who did not answer the questions. I think Woody Harrelson did one about a movie that he put out called Rampart, and it's all like, I don't want to answer this. Can someone please ask me about the movie Rampart? And it was like, no, you know the best one, and this is related to not something we talked about, but kind of something we talked about earlier, which is cats and James Corden. James Corden's Reddit AMA is maybe one of the greatest AMAs of all time, and I'm just going to read you a couple of the questions that he got asked. Hey James, you don't remember me, but me and my friends sat at a table next to you and Harry Styles, plus some others in Manchurian Legends in London's Chinatown about 6 years ago. We didn't bother you, but you were a massively entitled cunt who yelled and treated the waitstaff like shit, and when one of my party politely suggested you calm down, you got really aggressive and threatening, in a chubby way, like a boozy panda. So my question is this. Why did Harry seem so cool while you were such a massive throbbing bellend? So that's the first question. The other one is, my brother's girlfriend played one of your videos on my YouTube account, and now it keeps recommending more of them to me. Do you know how to get it to stop doing that? Have you ever considered being funny or likable?
Yeah, he's apparently a total dickhead, but Gavin and Stacey was real funny. So
it was real funny.
Yeah.
You sometimes have to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, that's right.
My other favorite subreddit is called Pictures of Ian Sleeping, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's pictures of a guy's flatmate, Ian, when he sleeps. It was around for ages. It got a massive amount of people, and people got really invested in Ian. And apparently it was like initially creepy, but then Ian started like participating in the subreddit and like hanging out and chatting. And then
my major question was, does Ian know about the subreddit? Because that very much changes how I feel about the subreddit.
Yeah. And then one day it ended, and because he had moved out. And there's still 47,000 people who are subscribed to that subreddit.
Did you guys know that in searching for Reddit, I accidentally spelt it with an extra T, and I found out a bunch of facts about a small town in Canada called Reddit. It is Reddit, Ontario. It is a lovely wee place. Not much going on there. It's quite rural. It's a mere 32-hour drive to Disneyland. It's quite a long way. But the very interesting thing about it is that there's a church in the middle of town, and it complained because the highway it was on until 1985 was Highway 666. And so they complained and got it changed, and it's now Highway 658, which isn't funny at all. That's why if you visited Reddit before 1985, you'd have to travel along Highway 66.
Highway to hell.
That's very cute.
Yeah, what an amazing place. It looks quite nice. It looks quite very rural. I tried to find out what it was actually close to, and nothing, literally nothing, just a whole bunch of likes.
There are quite a few famous users of Reddit. Probably one of the more famous and more popular ones, though actually he's not that active anymore, is a little friend of ours, friend of the show, Snoop Dogg, who was very active on the trees trees subreddit, which was not about trees,
set up by
as you might
arborists.
think. I mean, depends on how big it gets. His handle is Hail the King, and yeah, he's actually in 2014 they did a fundraising for just for business purposes to put it together, and he purchased an investment. So for a period of time, he's actually sold out now, but for a period of time, Snoop Dogg was an owner of Reddit.
That's funny. I think Jared Leto as well.
Peter Thiel.
There's my Calvin.
What?
Oh.
There's your.
Snoop Dogg.
I'm confused by this.
Because that is his name. Snoop Dogg. Believe it or not.
He wasn't born Snoop
Not his
Dogg.
name.
Yeah,
It's
interesting.
Kelvin Broadus. In fact, Kelvin's his middle name, actually. I think his first name's like
Snoop
Clementine
Dogg.
or something. Yeah. But so
Whatever.
there's my
That's
Kelvin.
better.
But there is a legendary character of Reddit. Well, he's not even on Reddit. He was described on Reddit called Kevin. And Kevin is in the Ask Reddit thread, who's the dumbest person you've ever met? And this is from a teacher who had a student called Kevin. So here's a list of events that made it abundantly clear that God exists, and he's laughing uncontrollably. Kevin ate an entire 24-pack of crayons, puked, then did it again the next day. This is the 9th grade. I have no idea where he got crayons. Kevin's mum could never remember which school he went to. Kevin tased himself in the neck before a football game. Kevin stole another student's iPhone and tried to sell it back to them.
Oh, I've got a friend who did that with my calculator.
Kevin spit on a girl and said, "You should get out of those wet clothes." The girl was the Spanish student teacher.
Oh my gosh.
Kevin didn't know dogs and cats were different animals. It's just incredible. He apparently stole the teacher's phone. Then the teacher called the phone, and Kevin denied the phone was ringing. Not that he had the phone, but that the phone was ringing. So I don't know who's the most popular out of Kelvin or Kevin, but I feel like it's Kelvin. I feel like it's Snoop Dogg because Kevin is hilarious, but also kind of probably not existing anymore. I think God probably finally took his vengeance.
Oh, he's definitely dead. Like
He's definitely dead.
he probably breathed in a crayon and died. I think it's quite funny that Snoop Dogg is so involved with Reddit because the character is called Snoo, the Reddit.
It's called Snoop.
He's Snoo, which is short for Snoop Dogg.
Do you know what it's actually short for?
What's
No.
new?
What's new, which is way less cool.
Yeah.
I just love the idea that there is probably a Snoop Snoo out there because Snoo gets customized for subreddit. So if there's a Snoop Dogg subreddit, I would imagine there is a Snoop Snoo.
When I hear what's new, I instantly go Pussycat.
Pussycat.
Yeah.
Right?
And not Snoop Dogg. So it's
Yeah.
quite the
What's
juxtaposition.
new, Snoopy Dog?
Kevin would have no idea what we're talking about.
Just to confirm, 9th grade, that's like 14, right?
Yeah, it's not young.
It's
not
year
like
9. Yeah, right. That's our third form.
I mean, third formers are pretty feral. Like the whole reason we have intermediates, which for people overseas is 2 years between sort of a junior school and a senior school. It's purely to keep them in one place so they can just be feral to one another. Like you just put them in a small contained environment. They're just awful for a couple of years. And when they're ready to be adults, you let them out and you can teach them things. But
You met any 14 or 15-year-old children
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I would not describe them as
That is way
mature
out
and
of
ready to
line.
become adults.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't been in any intermediates recently, have you?
I have.
No.
I have.
Jen hasn't because she's
Yeah,
banned
not-
from all schools. She's not allowed
Yeah,
near
because
them.
she's fighting fires.
Yeah, but hey, we got the mandates lifted.
Yay. Can I
No, you
share with you guys?
didn't. That didn't happen.
My husband had to evacuate his place of work yesterday because of those cockwombles. So
Oh, yeah.
if you're listening, protesters, you suck and you should have gone home on day 1. Bye.
You're worse than James Corden.
Oh my God, that is so harsh, but so true.
Can I share with you guys maybe one of the greatest and most inappropriate comments of Reddit history?
Yes.
And it's from an Ask Reddit. And it goes, and the question is, you can have sex with one real person from all of human history. Who is your ultimate lay? And the guy comments, I'd like to have sex one more time with my wife, who passed away from cancer 9 years ago. My body yearns for hers. The ultimate downside to finding the one is she may die young and leave you wanting. And the comment directly under that is, I also choose this dead I also choose this guy's dead wife. I've read it so many times that every time I read it, I just die. I mean, he painted a good picture. He painted a great picture.
So to go back to something that we were asking before, everyone here is on Reddit, yeah?
Yep.
Because we are actually a very good representation of Reddit's user base. Because it is 74% male
Hmm?
and fewer than 1% of users are over 65.
Kenny? Oh, sorry, Jen. I always forget that you're older than Kenny.
I'm older but far less mature.
And we're all American. It's
Yeah.
like 84% American or something like that, right?
It is, yeah. It's the ninth most popular website in America and the 19th most popular website in the world.
Yep.
Did you guys know that Reddit started in 2005 on June the 27th, which was actually the same day that Richard Whiteley, who was the host of Countdown, died?
Oh.
Coincidence?
Then he died.
I actually legitimately have heard about people having the Countdown theme song played at their funerals.
It's pretty funny.
I think it would be great.
Interesting thing that I found out that, well, YouTube started that same year as well, and but YouTube started in December, so Reddit is older than YouTube, which surprised me a bit. And then also at the start of Reddit, there was like a kind of big battle between them and Dig.com. They were like the two ones, and then Dig
I remember Dig.
Yeah, Dig did an update that people were like, I hate this, I'm going to Reddit.
Do you know what it's called when Reddit causes a massive rush of traffic to a website? They call it the hug of death.
Yes.
Because someone links to an obscure site and it's like, this is really funny. And so people are like, duff, 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 and then the website crashes from all the traffic.
Million
and it's called the
people.
hug of death.
Reddit is got lots of funny things, but there's actually been some really weird shit that's gone on. One of the worst things that Reddit did was when there was the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah.
And basically there was for a period of hours afterwards was a whole bunch of armchair detectives trying to find the bomber and were like getting footage, and they actually pointed the finger at the wrong guy who disappeared. And I'm not actually sure what happened to him, but basically they accused this guy of being the Boston marathon bomber, and he was innocent. And it's basically considered one of the worst things that Reddit has ever done.
Apart from that AMA with James Corden.
No, that's the best. Come on.
Can I tell you something that I think is maybe even better than that? There was a guy who was a Redditor. He was living at his house, and he suddenly started noticing that Post-it notes were just appearing in his house, and he thought that his landlord was coming in, putting up Post-it notes of just things that he had to do. And he got real confused about it, and he went to Reddit and said, hey, can I get some legal advice? What can I do to stop my landlord coming in and putting these Post-it notes up? Someone gave him the idea to put a webcam on his computer, so he set that up, and then to see if he came on, the motion would activate the webcam, or get footage of him, proof that he was in there. But it happened again, and he checked the webcam and noticed that the file that it would have been saved in had been cleared out, which means that he went, oh my gosh, not only is he breaking into my house and putting these Post-it notes up, which is weird, he's also logging into my computer and clearing these files out of the place, which is a huge breach of privacy. So he posted about that and asked for legal advice about that. And someone said, can you check your house just randomly to see if there is a gas leak in your house? You might have carbon monoxide poisoning. And it turns out he did. There was carbon monoxide being released into his house. He was putting the Post-it notes up himself and just forgetting that he had done them, because it leads to huge confusion. Wow. And so if he had left it for like a couple more days, he would have died in his sleep from carbon monoxide poisoning. And this guy on Reddit who said, hey, maybe check out if you have carbon monoxide in your house, saved this guy's life. Incredible.
That's amazing.
So I thought that was going to be a creepypasta, and it turned into an episode of House.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's really
it turns out he had lupus. Whoa.
Whoa.
The power of the internet for good. Who would have thought it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, one of my favorite things about Reddit is, first of all, the subreddit relationships, because there is some truly horrific shit in there, and it's very traumatic. But also the subreddit, Am I the Arsehole? So it's just subreddit AITA. And you post your scenario and ask, am I the asshole in this situation? And then people vote, you're the asshole, or not the asshole, or sometimes both people are assholes. And it's quite fascinating to get a view of how different people's minds work, because you can see this scenario and you go, oh my God, this person is completely unreasonable. This is such a ridiculous situation. Of course they're the asshole. You go into the comments and you'll find people passionately defending that, no, this is a perfectly normal and reasonable thing to do. It's really interesting. There was a Am I the Asshole that went semi-viral about a cat who seems to identify as male who was getting buttered. So this cat was like kind of adopted by a workplace.
Was this about creating a perpetual motion machine?
No. Yeah, this workplace had sort of adopted this tabby cat called Jean, and then she found a little orange cat who was real stupid who they called Jorts. And so they adopted Jorts as well. And Gene kind of looked after Jorts because he wasn't very smart. And he used to like fall into the rubbish bin and lock himself in the cupboard, and she'd have to let him out. But then they got
Kevin.
Yeah, real Kevin, but like super sweet. And a new co-worker joined the company, and she thought that one of her jobs would be to make Jorts more self-sufficient. So she started doing things like, he wasn't very good at grooming himself. Jean would often groom him for him. So this co-worker started putting margarine on Jorts to try and make him clean himself, and like locking him in the cupboard to try and make him figure out how to open the door.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, basically it ended up with the person writing the "Am I the Arsehole" thread. They reported this co-worker to HR to be like, please stop buttering the cat. It ended up, it was resolved appropriately. But Jorts the cat became like a bit of an internet personality. He now has a big Twitter following, and he's become staunchly pro-union. So Jorts the cat he's the opposite of the milkshake duck. He's like, he just keeps getting more and more awesome. He has been instrumental. It's a thing on Twitter where, everyone loves the milkshake duck, the duck who drinks milkshakes. He's so cute. 5 minutes later, we regret to inform you that the duck is a racist. Best exemplified by the "I'm a cat" lawyer, who it turns out was like abusing his position to harass his ex-partners.
Oh.
Anyway, so Jorts the cat is the opposite of a milkshake duck, because since becoming a Twitter personality, he's just become more and more amazing and awesome. And he has been encouraging Starbucks across America to unionize. He's been encouraging people to go in and order Starbucks. You can order Starbucks coffees on an app, and you can put your name in so that they can't misread it and be like, Jennifer Jibble. And he's been encouraging people to write Union Strong on their Starbucks orders, and like talk to the baristas about, because baristas aren't supposed to talk to each other about unionizing, but if a customer talks to them about it, it's rude not to talk. So it kind of, they're using Starbucks' own policies against them. It's really cute. And he posts lots of like threads about the US Department of Labor tip lines for exploited workers, and he's amazing. But yeah, he's been instrumental in helping a bunch of Starbucks unionize.
That's amazing.
When you said buttered at the start, I thought you said butt hurt, which is another quite Reddity phrase. Like,
yeah. I feel like Jorts is too pure to ever be butthurt about anything. Pam, the co-worker who was trying to butter Jorts, did initially get butthurt when she was reported to HR for buttering the cat.
Reddit's great. I love talking to people about it because it turns out there's just so much more out there. All these new things that is out there on the internet that people know and love. Oh.
Like Dragons Fucking Cars. The subreddit.
What?
Look it up. There is a subreddit called Dragons Fucking Cars, which is just pictures of dragons having sex with cars.
Once again, Tom, you seem to have confused the research for this week with go on DeviantArt and look up weird shit.
Look, that's where it comes from, but I know where their source is.
Have you guys heard of Random Acts of Pizza?
No,
Yes.
but I love that.
Oh, yeah. It's people doing Random Acts of Pizza. It's great.
one of the nicest things is the Christmas gift exchange. So now in New Zealand, there's a version that runs on Twitter that is quite nice. But over in Reddit, I don't think they do it anymore. They used to do a huge...
I did it years ago.
Transcontinental...
Did you get anything cool, Jen?
Yeah, it was amazing. I got a TARDIS plushie and a Weeping Angel like pencil case, like cloth.
We get it. You
bag.
like Star Trek.
Yeah.
What did you get for your person?
When they matched with me, they said that they were really into travel and like going to different places. And I think they were from South America somewhere. I want to say Argentina, but I don't know. And so I sent them a whole bunch of like Kiwi things. So I think pineapple lumps.
20 New Zealand dollars. Can I read out for you guys just one last thing, which is one of the most famous, could they call it copy pasta? You know, one of the kind of things they were just copies and pastes. And this is from a guy called Unidan, who was kind of milkshake ducked because he was a guy who would chime in. He was a science, he was specializing in birds by the looks of it. And he would chime in lots of different things. Everyone like, oh, Unidan's here. He's got lots of smart things to say. And then there was an argument over jackdaws, whether a jackdaw was a crow. And he responded with this. And here's the thing. You said a jackdaw is a crow. Is it in the same family? Yes. No one's arguing that. As someone who is a scientist who studies crows, I am telling you specifically, in science, no one calls jackdaws crows. If you want to be specific, like you said, then you shouldn't either. They're not the same thing. If you're saying crow family, you're referring to the taxonomic group of Corvidae, which includes things from nutcrackers to blue jays to ravens. So your reasoning for calling a jackdaw a crow is because random people call the black ones crows? Let's get grackles and blackbirds in there then too. Also, calling someone a human or an ape, it's not one or the other. That's not how taxonomy works. They're both. A jackdaw is a jackdaw and a member of the crow family, but that's not what you said. You said a jackdaw is a crow, which is not true unless you're okay with calling all members of the crow family crows, which means you'd call blue jays, ravens, and other birds crows too, which you said you don't. It's okay to just admit you're wrong, you know.
Did he then say, "I'm Batman"?
Yeah, and then it was discovered that he had like multiple alternate accounts and would upvote all of his replies so that he seemed like he was more popular than he was. And then he got found out and basically completely fell from grace. And that was the end of Uni Done. And that comment there was his like the piece de resistance, like the thing that he was remembered for. All the good comments, all the smart things he said, gone from that one very strange tirade.
Yeah, good.
It kind of cracks me up that he was ranting about blue jays, which are like the Smurfs of the Corvidae family, and he got done for smurfing.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Jen, that is a wonderful note to leave this podcast on. So let's quickly wrap up. My fact was that a church in a town called Reddit was on the highway to hell 666.
My fact was that Kelvin Broadus, or Snoop Dogg, is one of the most popular members of Reddit and a former owner, as compared to Kevin, maybe one of the dumbest people in existence who got chewing gum in his hair for no reason and didn't realize that cats and dogs were different animals.
Speaking of cats, my fact was that a co-worker getting hauled over the coals with HR for buttering her cat ended up leading to the unionization of Starbucks.
And my fact was that the very first comment that was ever put on Reddit was bitching about how the whole place went to the dogs.
Well, it has been a strong episode for facts. So let's, on three, we'll vote for our favourite fact. Point to the person that has yours. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Thom, it is you, my friend.
Thom.
2 for Thom Adams. Congratulations, buddy.
Well, if you've got better comments than what we'd find on Reddit, put them in our YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Share us on your socials, your non-socials. Just write our podcast on a brick and throw it through someone's window. And we will see you all next week for more fun and games about something completely unrelated.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.